My name is Joshua Frederick, and I'm the men's small group leader.
My name is Christine Frederick, and I serve on the stewardship team, and I also help out in Kids Way.
My name's Lauren Taylor, and I started at the Way Faith Community about a year ago. My mentor and her husband from our previous church actually transferred over here, and I had quit going to our previous church, and so they were like, hey, come with us. I showed up, and I was kind of in the middle of a really big transition phase. It was a new church. I was moving into a new apartment, new job. My whole life was just it was kind of a new life, and it was really weird. I had known Jesus for 3 or 4 years at that point in time, and I thought I had become this adult Christian and I was ready to be this person, and turns out God had a lot more to show me.
I grew up in church pretty much my entire life. Good Bible-believing fundamental Baptist church, and I thought what I was doing was good and acceptable, and I always was the guy who kind of had it put together, and through circumstances that happened at Bible college, the seed of bitterness had gotten planted in my life, and that really grew, and I allowed that to grow, and I watered that on a regular basis.
Yeah, I would agree with Josh that we really were kind of at a very bad or bitter or just maybe a burned out place when we came to the Way, and we had spent about a year visiting other churches but not really staying with any of them. We had one that we visited more regularly than other ones, but it wasn't anything where we were making effort to be involved or felt like that was the church for us that we would want to raise our family in and be a married couple in.
It started because I started working in the nursery, and I realized how much I have a heart for kids, and I can't believe how much I have a heart for kids. I knew I did, but I didn't know how much love I could have for a kid that I'd met 10 minutes ago.
The first week that we came to the Way, we felt so welcome, and we just, we really felt like we related to the people here, and that they were understanding of kind of where we were coming from and really desired growth from us.
And so we had started getting involved in the church, and Christine had started getting involved with discipleship, and after seeing what God was doing in her life through the discipleship, I contacted Pastor Seth, and so he got back to me. He said, yeah, I'll go ahead and disciple you. And so we developed that relationship, and through that we were able to just deal with my bitterness.
A few months ago now, I guess, I sent in an application to go work in an orphanage in Uganda. So through the Way and finding a place to plug in the nursery and finding this really great Christian community and family that supports me in everything I decide to do, I've decided to take a trip to Uganda for 6 to 8 weeks in this spring of 2013, and I think a year ago I would have never saw myself this place. I don't do adventures, I don't do planes, I get really nervous, and I will be just hanging out, helping kids with homework, cleaning, cooking, all the things I'm not good at.
Through Bible college and through growing up and being in the church that I was before, that was all part of God's plan, and that through that God had been working on me. I didn't know it, and I didn't really enjoy it, but through all those situations, God really had been working on me, and so I had rededicated my life to ministry and working in the church, and we've been growing by leaps and bounds, more than probably we've ever grown spiritually before in our life.
For me, going through Bible doctrine, it touches on a lot of aspects of, submission and the roles of husband and wife in a way that, you go through it and you can't deny the facts that are there. But the thing that I like about being in this body of believers is that nobody's perfect and people fail each other sometimes, but you have that constant desire for growth and that constant desire to recognize what God says, and they truly desire to really live out those roles that God has given them.
Being a godly husband isn't about being domineering over your wife or subjecting her to your authority, but it's that equal partnership.
And being submissive isn't about being pouty when you don't get your way, which really makes things operate a lot more smoothly if you recognize those things and make them important in your marriage.
I'd say we have it all figured out now.
Sure, yeah.
It's been 4 years in September, and we got it figured out. We're good to go.
I can honestly say that it's through the people that I've met and the love that I've encountered being at this church and finding really what God wanted me to do and really learning what it looks like to answer a call from God, because I've never had that in my life. God has never placed this huge call on my heart and said, go do this in my name, and now he has, and I'm answering it, and I don't think I would be here without the way.